The Texas Porch, Texas Talk with a touch of sports. That's Josh. I'm JP. You can catch all the episodes that Mitch designed at texasporch.com. Help us out with a subscribe. We're on Facebook and YouTube and the Twitter world as well. You may know the Astros in the World Series. So, Josh, two baseball talking folks like ourselves hit me about this time yesterday. It's like, hey, why don't we break down each of these games like we do our silly Cowboys games? I think at least a few people might be interested in it, but a tough one in game one. The Braves take that one 6-2. And most people don't know that I am a huge diehard Braves fan. But a tough one for those Astros tonight, but it's a long series. Your initial thoughts on that one? How you feeling?
I guess not terrible. I mean, the Astros have a tendency to either be totally on or totally off, and tonight they were totally off. So I guess you just go through it and hope the bats wake up at some point and get some pitching from other guys not named Valdez, and then he comes back at some point. Yeah, just from the Astros standpoint, just a pretty much nothing game. It's 5-0 after the third, and they never really seemed like they were ever in it. Like the last couple innings, they got a runner or two on, but it wasn't like the tying run was played or anything. It was just one of those nights for the Astros.
Yeah, I thought once it got down early, the Astros got down early. I thought, that's not a big deal. You know, I'm not as emotionally tied to it as you are. I was thinking, I've seen them come back from a mini game like that, but like you're right, it has been a different story in the postseason. I thought the tide would change a little bit when Charlie Morton went down. That turned out to be really scary, and I mean, he's Mr. Iron Man. And he probably comes back next year, but he's when you're getting up to our age territory and still pitching in the big leagues, that's a big injury to suffer. But they never really had the chance to get those big innings going. Like you saw it late in the game, even when the Astros had when was it Gurriel had that borderline. I thought off the bat it looked like a homer, but then they have the replay of it, and he had got thrown out at second. But just even when they got a little action going, they were never able to really get that big inning going. Odorizzi pitched fine, but like he has, but they just didn't have that pop at the start that Valdez gave them in that last start. He reverted to what he was this start before that. So do you see it as a game like that where they just didn't have a lot of those opportunities once the Braves got that 4-run lead?
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those games, and Morton went out. You kind of think that you'll get your chances, but they didn't. They didn't put anything together, and I don't know. Just, I mean, Morton going out. You know, you never root for injuries, but that's like one of the Astros. Nobody in their dugout likes. It's almost like a downer to everybody, whenever it happens. I'm not blaming that on anything, but you know, the Braves are obviously, he's one of their better pitchers, so that's a downer for them. And the Astros, he's friends with all them. Like, I mean, they all said before the game, I wish I could say something bad about him, but he's a great teammate. He was on the mound the time the Astros won the World Series, so you hate to see him go out. Like, from the totally sports standpoint, you're like, well, they can't replace that starting pitcher. But at the same time, it's nobody likes to see that one, especially from a guy like him from both sides. But whenever Mentor got on the mound, you thought, well, the Astros should be able to get at this bullpen for a little bit, because I know they talk about how good the Braves bullpen is, but the closer's not good. Smith, he's not great. And Matzek's really good. And the Astros actually got pretty much their only damage of the night against him whenever they got 2 or 3 hard hits, and Yuli got thrown out at second trying to go there for some reason. But the slide was just, I don't know, that kind of signified the whole night. You missed the home run by a foot, and then you do that slide. And I don't know, just kind of signified the whole night where everything was afoot the Braves way, and everything was foot against the Astros way. So you just kind of hope that it's one game and they move on.
So it was the third straight year and the fourth time in 5 years that the World Series is in Texas. So naturally, we're going to break it down. Those were the big talking points of the game. Kind of looking at it, not pitch by pitch or even half inning by half inning, but early on, Framber Valdez, he was not on his A game. It seemed like his when he was trying to come inside to right-handers with that breaking ball, he just wasn't getting that sharp enough break like he was in that last game against the Red Sox. And Jorge Soler had the first leadoff home run in a game one in World Series history. Hard to believe that in 117 years that had never happened. And then Oscar Albies gives America a taco, and then Austin Riley doubles him in. Atlanta was leading 2-0. So at that point, you didn't really think the Astros were out of it by any means. But man, those baseball numbers tell you when you get that early multiple run lead in the first inning, it doesn't spell well for the long term. And the way you had to have a great Valdez start in this one. You hate to say you had to have what he did in Boston, right? But you had to have him step up and give you at least 5, right? I don't think that's being too picky. And he couldn't get that clicking early. And like Smoltz said, Braves stuck to a game plan, and it worked the whole game, but particularly early when it counted.
You didn't have to have the Boston start. We went 8 innings, but
yeah,
a decent start, a 5 inning, like 3-run thing would be nice instead of the opposite of a whatever it was, the 5 runs that he gave up. So yeah, I mean, they were just on everything that he was throwing. I thought at some point, like there was about 3 different times where a ground ball kind of got through the middle of the infield. I'm like, well, that's not good breaks. And then I saw some of the Astros beat writers had tweeted that they're all like 105 miles an hour on these. So they're not like blue pits that you can say, oh, they just found a hole. They're ripping them. And he gave up 8 hits in less than 3 innings. So he just wasn't on at all. And he has a tendency to be all or nothing. And tonight he was kind of nothing. And all things considered, like all the relievers came through for him and ended up giving up a total of 6 runs, which you think with the Astros offense, if they get in the 5 range or something like that, then they have a chance. But in any game, they're going to need usually more than a couple runs. I think tonight they're not going to win too many 2-1 games. You wouldn't think in the series, although maybe, but you'd think that they're the strength of the team is the lineup, which is I think pretty superior to the Braves, but they didn't show it tonight.
How about this stat comes across sports Twitter? Astros are the first team to lose 5 straight World Series home games since the Braves from 1996 through 1999. You're the Astros guru of us two. How do you explain that one? I mean, it's just they've been such a dominant team in the American League for so long, and just not been able to turn that juice. Obviously, they've done a lot in the LDS and LCS rounds, but not been able to take advantage of the home field. And even back in 2017, they won at LA. So how do you explain that road type of issue that they've had, or is it just one of those baseball anomalies? What do you think?
I don't know if there's any explanation to it. Like going back to the 19 World Series, whenever the road team won all the games, like you go in thinking the Astros are the better team and they lose the first 2 games. And then you're like, oh, well, they're done. They go to Washington, win all 3 games. And you're like, okay, well, the Nats are done. Astros have it. And then they go back home and lose 2 games in a row. So I don't know if there's any explaining it. Like tonight, you thought that was their chance. I'd seen a tweet from Brian McTaggart that they're 2-7 in the World Series before tonight at home, and now they're 2-8. They hadn't won any game ones of the World Series, so just some quirky stuff like I don't know how to explain it. The 19 team, you got Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, a pitching staff that's so much better than this one, and they still managed to lose those games. So I don't think there's any real explaining it. You just hope that the bats catch fire, because that's kind of what they've been built on all year. The bats are ice cold for a week and then they're great for 3 weeks. So at this point, that's kind of simplifying the matter. But if the bats get hot against the Braves pitchers, then they're good. If they're like they are tonight, then this could be over in 4 or 5.
It's a simple game, but it's hard to execute. That's the fact of the matter, that they had their chance early on in that first inning after the Braves got up 2-0. The Astros stranded the bases loaded, and then the Braves went up 3-0. They got runners on second and third with 1 out, and Travis d'Arnaud scored with 2 outs. Albies pokes 1 out, 2 Altuve. His only play was at first. And then Valdez strikes out Austin Riley to limit some more of the potential damage. And then in the response inning, the Braves get the shutdown frame. The Astros go down 1-2-3, and then a 2-run homer by Adam Duvall chases Valdez, and it's 5-0 at that point in the top of the third inning. And then Morton has that just it wasn't even really scary injury or gruesome by any means. It almost looked like he tweaked a hamstring, they were saying on the broadcast, or maybe like tweaked an ankle. It was one of those weird things. But at that point, Odorizzi did a good job, really good job of stopping the bleeding. Do you look at him as the one big positive in the game, or bullpen guys, smallpen guys, that's kind of what they're supposed to do, stop the bleeding in a game like that just to give the bats a chance?
Well, he's a bullpen guy. I mean, he's not a bullpen guy. He's a starter.
Well, yeah. In this setting, yeah.
But I mean, it was great that he did what he did, because it saved the rest of the bullpen. But at the same time, you're not expecting much from him for the rest of the series. I guess getting him in game 4 or game 5 for, I wouldn't even think of spot start, but to go a few innings. But the Morton injury was actually happened when he got the ball smoked off his leg, and then kind of what I was thinking for all the breaks for the night, it goes right to the first baseman off his leg for an out, and they didn't make anything of it on the broadcast. So I thought he was all right. And whenever that happened, I thought he landed wrong or something. And then they said, no, he was pitching through that. So that's in the terms of Charlie freaking Morton, which the Astros, that's what he was known for. I mean, he pitched an inning on a broken leg, which is unreal. Like, I don't know how he struck out Altuve with his last pitch. So obviously I'm the Astro fan, but he took a big step forward in everybody's book, and I don't think he needed to by doing that, just because it was obvious he just downplayed it. Like, I can't imagine how much that hurt without him even letting anybody know until that finally happened, and then it was totally done for him. But yeah, in terms of positive notes for the Astros, Odorizzi going the three innings that he went, that was good, because you're not totally blowing through the bullpen like they did early against the Red Sox. But at the same time, I mean, it's not like, oh yeah, Odorizzi is the Brave stopper now, because they're only going to use him if something really bad happens, or if something really good happens where you're just using him to eat innings. But he was really good, and so potentially in game 4 or 5 where they're going with the bullpen game just because of their own injury problems, then you'd have more confidence in putting him out there.
Tyler's AJ Minter came on for the Braves. He was fantastic. You talked a little bit about that earlier. Astros got some traffic there in the 4th inning, but only got 1 run out of it. And then Odorizzi, he kept the Braves bats at bay. But then Aggie Brooks Raley comes on the top of the 8th. He allowed a sac fly on his first pitch. Atlanta was leading 6-1 at that point. And then maybe a little bit of life for them Stros. The Astros, Alvarez triples. Carlos Correa grounds out to score him. And then it looked like Uriel had that home run, but a replay upheld the single, and he was thrown out at second, just not the Astros night, and the Braves win it 6-2. That Alvarez ball, that's the one, if you can call it a pitfall at Minute Maid Park. It's a very hitter-friendly park, of course, and much has been made, and a huge reason that they built the team around that very fact. But that left center line drive can take away a lot of home runs there. Not all the way deep back towards the gas tank, but that seemed to be off the bat a home run. And who knows, a few feet to the left or right or up, maybe that changes the tone of that game. And then the Astros can feed it on that. But by that time, a lot of fans had left, and you kind of saw the writing on the wall. But Josh, in this case, there's always tomorrow.
At least for another few days. Hopefully they can come back out there and get going tomorrow. Although the pitching matchup for them tomorrow isn't good, but history shows an indication, then losing the first two at home isn't totally the death of them. But you think they need to get going tomorrow and maybe catch a few breaks. And from a totally a-hole sports fan thing, the Braves are missing a starter now, so their game 5 all of a sudden turned into a bullpen game against whatever. So Astros just need to get together and get it together. I guess I don't have to get together, but get it together, start hitting a little bit, and that would be very beneficial to them.
We know what you meant, and don't feel bad about the injury thing. As they're replaying that shot on watching MLB Network now, and then I did not piece it together like you did earlier that he came back and pitched after that. That was pretty insane. But the only folks that we know root for those injuries, saying it's good for us, are the Cleveland Cavaliers radio guys. At least I think that's where that shtick extends back between you and me. Is that right?
I don't remember
somebody else? Or is that too many inside jokes that we have over the decades?
I was thinking it might have gone football related at some point, like some kind of random college team where he said, that's good for us. And then they had to come back and say, no, we're not rooting for injuries, despite the fact that God just flat out did it. So, sometimes in the back of your mind, you're probably like, well, that injury, could help us out. But I really don't think any Astro fans actually with Charlie Morton think all that, just because no matter what, he's going to be the one that was on the mound whenever they won the World Series. And so you just can't wish anything wrong on him, even if last year he cost the Astros because he pitched like 6 shutout innings for Tampa Bay in the ALCS game 7. So he's definitely come back to bite him, but I think you kind of take that without hoping he's going to break his leg because ball got hit back to him.
And Captain Obvious here. That's why they call me Mr. Baseball. Astros were 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They left 9 on base. They had that golden opportunity early with the bases loaded. Playoff baseball, you never know when you'll get that early chance, and it eluded them. And reading a few things, looking at Astros Twitter, that okay, I can ask you this because you're the Dusty Baker. I don't think you have your master's degree, but if you did, it would be in Dusty Baker, just Dusty Baker. But what a cool story for him, coming full circle. Near this could be the last series of his career, who knows? But Chandler Rome tweeting out now that whether he considered hitting for Maldonado in the 4th with 2 on and 1 out. That's way too early, far too early. You do that if you're panicking, and I don't know how to panic. So, I didn't think much of that at the time, but did you want him to hit for Maldonado in that place? And kind of 1B question, what did you think about Dusty tonight? There didn't seem to be any other hot button moments besides that one possibly, or was that the only one?
That was fine. That's really early in the game, and the deficit isn't too bad. I thought it was good that he went to Castro in the 8th inning or 7th inning, whenever he actually came in. I think it was the 7th. But at that point, I don't think you pull the panic move and pull Maldonado, because everybody's after Castro got the big hit in game 4 of the ALCS, everybody's like, well, you have to start Castro and you have to do that for the bat. And then game 6, Maldonado just puts a bullet on to pull off the strike him out, throw him out double play, which really kind of sealed the series. This time they were kind of in doubt. And so, you do pick and choose your spots for using Castro as a pinch hitter, and he is good at it. But they're in the 4th inning. I think you just take your chances with Maldonado and go with it, as opposed to bringing in Castro and then just going that way the rest of the game. So, no, I don't have any problem bashing Dusty for different decisions, but that one was fine. If he would have gone the other way, I guess that's all right too. But especially in game one of the series, maybe if you're down 3-1 or something, you would go to that, but not at that point. I don't really even second guess that at all.
Yeah, you seem to be, if I'm reading this right, don't want to project anything on you, but you seem like the biggest Dusty head scratcher, if that's a neutral enough term, when it seemed like late in the season, Graveman, or just, I mean, like most managers are going to get criticized for their bullpen, but I don't respect too many fans when they say that and they just gripe about it. But you, who watch every single inning and most every single pitch, it seems like the bullpen is when it comes in to question most with Dusty. Is that fair enough, or maybe that's a whole other side off-season topic if he comes back next season? But all around, seems like a great guy, but it seems like the bullpen is the biggest question mark for him.
Yeah, generally that's what it is, and that's kind of been the knock on him forever, one way or another. But yeah, I mean that'd be going way down the rabbit hole if we went there now for regular season games. Because even then, sometimes I look back and I'm like, well, it's regular season, so you have to do certain things. But I think the bullpen is more so of what he gets bashed for, and sometimes deservedly so. But I mean, 6-2 game tonight, I don't think you can really just dog any single thing about it. Like Valdez wasn't on, and that's pretty much what cost him the game. Like if he goes 5 innings and gives up 3 runs, then totally different ball game. But giving up 6 runs on 8 hits or whatever in the 3 innings, you just can't live with that in the World Series, especially. So you just hope that he ditches that and comes back for Game 5 and just gets rolling there, and kind of like the last series where this all seems like a distant memory.
So some comments from Valdez trickling in as he's at the podium. I should have thought ahead and had the feed piped in, but Mr. Technology worrying about the podcast side of things. But Framber Valdez said getting behind in the count is what hurt him more than anything. And he also said, it was my first World Series game, so I'm not going to tell you I didn't feel any kind of pressure. And then the tweeter, Daniel Lerner, said that he went on to say he did his best to quiet down after that, and all he can do is turn the page. He also said, we're going to look at the errors that I made and see how I can clean them up. So coming up for Game 2, and we'll be back and at it after that. You got Max Fried of the Bravos against Jose Urquidy, just his second game in this postseason. When I looked up that stat, that threw me a little bit. And was that against Boston when he came in? They just didn't need him in the ALDS. I defer to you.
Well, he was hurt late in the year, and
That's right.
In the Boston series, the Astros had McCullers, so McCullers went games 1 and 4, and then you had Valdez and Garcia for games 2 and 3, so they just didn't need him. So that's the reason that they have not pitched him so far. And then he came on 15 days rest or something like that for the last series and was terrible in his game. So, I mean, he's been there before. He won a World Series game a few years ago against the Nationals where he just kind of shut them down. So he's capable. I mean, he's not bad. He's got a 3-ish ERA. You just hope he's on, and so it doesn't turn into a repeat of the Red Sox series where it's all the starting pitchers going 1 2/3, 2 2/3, 3 innings. But he's definitely capable. He's not like your shutdown guy, but on a normal day, you'd think you get 5-6 innings and 3 runs out of him. So you're just hoping you get through that. The Astros did avoid going to many of their big time bullpen guys. Stanek went an inning or something like that. And outside of that, the Rayleigh and Odorizzi, those are guys you're not really planning on getting anything from. So they're fully stocked and ready to go for Game 2. So you like having that where you can go to Graveman or go to Presley for multiple innings if need be, if you can get to that 5th or 6th inning, which you would think they could. Just you just got to get there.
All right, this is production on the fly. Let's hear from Dusty. Tweet courtesy of AT&T Sportsnet Southwest. Dusty Baker, after his team drops game 1 of the World Series. Let's see if this works. Production on the fly.
I heard that, he had a broken leg, which is, you don't wish bad on anybody. And I heard Charlie Morton's one of the best guys around too. So we just got to wish him well. We didn't get many breaks tonight. They got 3 or 4 infield hits that end up, causing the pitch count, to go up. Our bullpen did a very good job. It's just that we couldn't get anything going offensively, which is rare where the opposing team out hits our team.
Stay in the third row here.
Dusty, what did you think of Odorizzi tonight, and how does using him tonight maybe impact your plans moving forward with him?
Well, I don't know about the plans moving forward. The game just ended tonight, but he did a very good job. Keeping that game, where it is. Also taking some pressure off our bullpen. Yimi did a good job. Like I said, our bullpen did an excellent job, tonight. And they played a good game. I mean, sometimes you get beat and sometimes, you give them the game. We didn't give them anything tonight. We just got beat tonight. They played a very good game.
So I do have a Dusty Baker tie to this podcast. Are you friends with Nate on Facebook?
On Twitter, I think I follow him.
I'm sure he tweeted it out, but he interviewed Dusty yesterday early in the morning, and Dusty gave him one of his toothpicks.
I saw the picture of Nate and Dusty, and I thought that was really awesome. I mean, Dusty Baker, probably a future Hall of Famer, should be.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I saw Nate with him. I was like, man, that's pretty fun, because we had talked about Nate missing the Rice game, but he had his Astros duty. So that was pretty cool that he actually got that, and he gets to be there for the World Series and everything.
He is Mr. TV on the beat. I always mess with him being a big time TV star, but I thought that was pretty cool. One of my good buddies guy has a Dusty toothpick. That's pretty cool. He also texted me, and you'd think this is really funny, especially after me butchering my way through some Astros talk here now, is Nate texted me and said, I've got the 7:10 spot tomorrow. This was yesterday, so he's talking about today. I forgot to tell you this. I've got the 7:10 spot tomorrow at Minute Maid Park wide open for you.
Hey, did you accept?
I sent back the emoji like
you knew that he wasn't really meaning to talk to you.
Yeah, I was like, that's probably a mistext. He probably didn't mean to send that one to me, but he said, "Oh, LOL, my bad. That was meant for somebody else." So I didn't see who. I think he actually had Sylvester Turner, the mayor of Houston, on. So I don't know if he got me easily confused.
I mean, it's pretty much the same person. I mean,
yeah, we're very similar, but
at least in popularity.
All right, Josh. Sorry, man. Hope you feel better. And hey, that's the way baseball go. Gonna be back here tomorrow. Appreciate you, man.
So you had to put your Ron Washington reference there for the Braves tonight. So
yeah, sorry about that. I mean that the way it is. I guess I just dug back deep 10 years ago when Wash was the leader of my team. But you're a great sport. You're a great human, and it's a weird spot for me to be in, but I want you to be happy. I truly mean that 100%. So we'll be happy tomorrow. Let's have a happy post-game pod tomorrow night. All right.
Well, let's hope so. If nothing else, the Astros did win the World Series 4 years ago, and they hadn't actually got it taken away from them yet. So if nothing else, then I can still look back on that happiness and just go with it. Plus, I mean, 3 years in the World Series and 5 years that I understand I'm spoiled now, but you get to this point and you want another one. So maybe they'll turn it around. I mean, it's a loss tonight, but they're right there. I'm sure for all those Vegas betting lines, the Astros are probably still the favorite to win the World Series after this. So you kind of take it. Yeah.
You cleaned it up nicely there, but turn that frown upside down. There is a day tomorrow. All right, Josh, have a good one.
Okay, we'll talk at this point or later tomorrow, depending on if it goes 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, see what Urquidy can do. Spin a great 2.5 hour, 8 inning shutout before giving it to Grapin, right? All right. Thanks, Josh.
Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
That's Josh. I'm JP. Join us after each of the Astros World Series games here, Facebook, YouTube, and the Twitter, Texas Porch Pod. You can also check us out on the Mitch designed thetexasporch.com. We've also got those Cowboys episodes after each game as well. Josh and I have talked behind the scenes. How are we going to juggle a Halloween night with Cowboys, Astros, and Halloween at my new neighborhood? But have a great rest of this night. God bless you. God bless Texas. And we'll talk to you next time out here on the Texas Porch.